My name is Reuwsatt, and we're going to go after badgers in this video. Badgers are kind of an elusive animal to some degree, but they're easy to trap. They're very aggressive when they work your dirt hole. And one thing you'll find if you run a lot of sets, like out on your coyote line, you'll pick up some badgers incidentally, but there are certain areas where you can go and you can specifically target badgers and really increase that badger catch. Here in the West, we've got a great badger. They typically have a pretty awesome value at the end of the year, so I really like to target badgers. A good year for me on badgers is 50-60 badgers, and that's not targeting them real hard, but definitely going after them. And the key to targeting badgers is being in the right country. I like to be in the prairie when I'm trapping badgers. I don't like to do those in like the hills setting here, the Black Hills that we have in South Dakota. I like to be out in the prairie. And if you can put yourself around prairie dog towns or fields that have a lot of moles in them, you're going to do really well with badgers. You'll catch them in stack yards, prairie dog towns. Badgers travel trails a lot like a coyote does. They will travel roads just like we've got right here. And so don't pass these kind of areas up.
All right, now what we've got here is we've got a badger. This is an early season badger. He's actually caught out of season, and it's a badger that we'll have to let go. These are incidental catches that you do catch, before the season starts, and quite honestly, these badgers are not good enough to harvest yet anyway. The quality of fur on this badger, he's a big one, but the quality of fur on him is not good enough to harvest. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this animal go. He's caught on the front foot. He'll be fine when we let him go, but they're an extremely aggressive animal. So when you're doing this, you need to use quite a little caution letting him go. We're gonna try to get him around the neck and over his front arm on the other side that's not in the trap so we can control him. If you try and get him around the neck, the noose on the catch pole will not hold him. It'll slip off, and then you're going to be in harm's way. Hopefully we'll be able to catch this animal again when our season starts, because I'd sure like to get him when his fur is good, because there is quite a value to him. But we're going to go ahead and get this guy out of the trap, and then we'll redo this set. Trying to dig this down in the dirt here a little bit and get it under that other arm. There we go. Okay guys, now you can see, I'll show you here, we've got a real good catch on that animal. And now we'll be able to pin him down to the ground where he can't get around to bite us. I'm gonna hold that with my midsection here, and I'm gonna reach down. I'm going to release that trap. Okay, now as you can see, this animal is completely free from the trap. We've got control of him. He can't come back and get us. So now I'm just going to take him out here, and we're going to let him go. And when you catch these guys and you've got to let them go, make sure you watch them when you let them go so they don't come back at you, because these badgers are a real aggressive animal, like I said. So we're going to just get him over here. Okay, now we're going to get him off of the pole. Now he's free. Now we'll see where he goes. All right, now that we've released that badger, we're going to address this set here. This trap is on the back side of this big crevice he's dug in the ground here. We're actually going to end up having to pull this trap, and we'll actually move it right over here. All right, now guys, we've got that trap out of the ground. We're going to go ahead and reattach another wolf fang to it. Always just double check and make sure that you got your J-hook closed all the way so you don't have an issue of it not being closed and you lose an animal because of it. And you can tell we're right on the edge of this trail, and that's where we want to be to maximize our scent travel here across the road. And we'll go ahead and drive this in the ground here. And we're going to give that a jerk to set that earth anchor in there. Now we're going to go ahead and reset the trap. We're going to bed it. And when we bed that trap, we're going to make sure that it's bedded real firm in the ground so we got no movement here. So when the animal comes in and works this set, when he's stepping around, he doesn't flip that trap up, because if he feels that movement under his feet, he's gonna dig right where that trap's at and figure out what's going on under his feet, and then you're gonna miss that animal. I'm gonna go ahead and cover that trap. Now we're gonna go ahead and dig our dirt hole here. And we're going to go ahead and stick our bait down the dirt hole. Take a small piece of sheep's wool. We're going to stick that down our dirt hole over that bait so they have to work a little bit to figure out what's going on in there. Then we're going to take some of our coyote gland lure here, and we're going to stick that on the back side. And now this set's done, and unfortunately we don't have any fur to capture out of this one. But maybe we'll catch that badger here at a later time. All right, we're out here today, and this is actually a coyote set that I've got in the ground here. I've got it set because I've got a cattle trail that's intersecting the road right here. And we've caught a really nice large badger. It's an early season badger. It doesn't have good hair, and he's also out of season. So we're gonna let this animal go today, which is something you need to be careful with these guys. They're very aggressive, and when you let him off the catch pole, make sure that you're ready for him, because they are an aggressive animal and they don't necessarily always run. So we're gonna get him on the pole. One thing to keep in mind with these badgers is they've got a ton of muscle around their neck, and you're going to want to get a nice grab on him, and you're not going to choke this guy down with the catch pole. I have tried to dispatch a badger before with a catch pole, and we're not going to choke him out with the catch pole. So we're going to get him on there, and then we're going to get him out of the hole. It'd be best if we could get that other shoulder in this loop, so we've got something more than just his neck to hold on to. But I don't know if he's going to let us get that under his other arm. All right, this is gonna work here now. Okay, now we've got him out of the trap. We're gonna try and drag him out of here because we want to reset this location. We're gonna get him away from our dirt hole so he doesn't run right back in there. There we go. And that's how you release a badger, guys. And as you can see, he's definitely still watching us, and I'm going to watch him till he gets out of here. But we're using an offset trap, We didn't have any foot damage on that animal, which is great, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to catch him again when they come in season. And even when they come into season, that's an animal that you really want to catch late in the year, and I'm talking January, February. That's when the badger has the best fur on him. He's one of the last guys to prime up, and those early season badgers like that really don't have a lot of value to them. You wait for that animal to get, you know, to January, February to harvest, and there's a pretty good value to that animal. But as you can see, looking at him, he's taken off, and he'll live to hunt another day here. All right, just looking at this set location here. Normally when I catch a badger, a lot of times I'll reset that same location, but I've got two holes going on here. I've got one in the front, one in the back, and I don't like the way this looks right here. So actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this trap and I'm gonna take it off the wolf fang earth anchor that it's attached to. And I'm going to punch in a new set just on the edge of the dirt circle here, and we'll use this dirt as the backing. I just don't like the way this looks, for, you know, having that earth anchor right here to bed that trap, and I just feel better about putting that outside this catch circle here. We'll still have the scent of that badger, that real musty scent that they leave here. That's going to carry quite a ways, and we'll use that to our advantage outside of this circle at this spot. So we're going to go ahead and redo this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and dig a new trap bed here. I don't normally like breaking sod like this if I don't have to. I'd normally look for just a sandy or just a spot where there's just straight dirt and it's not full of grass like that. But we'll be able to blend this in real nice with all of this mess that the badger made back behind us. So it's not a big deal. We're going to go ahead and set our earth anchor again. I'm going to take a handful of this nice soft dirt, put that down in my trap bed so I've got a nice bed to put this trap in. That we can pack that down and make it real firm in the ground. Now we're going to bed that in, put that soft dirt, or take that soft dirt we put in there, and we're going to pack that down around the jaws of the trap until we've got a bed in there that the trap doesn't move. Grab some of this dirt from back here, and we're going to blend this in. And you can see that the trap's sitting a little bit lower in the ground than the rest of the ground, the ground that we dug out, which is fine. That's a good thing to have. But we're also going to blend in out around in this grass a little bit so that it matches the rest of the area. So it's not just a spot where our trap's sitting that looks like fresh dirt. Now we're going to dig out our dirt hole just at the base of where it's the mound. Now we're going to take and put our bait down the dirt hole. Rinse that trowel off on the back side here in this dirt. Put our sheep's wool down our dirt hole. A little bit of lure on this plant on the side, and this set is done.
Bait and lure that I'm using on these badgers works really, really well with them. The lure is a real loud a badger lure, call it my ornery badger lure, and it works really well on badgers. And then I'm using my all predator bait on badgers. Badgers are an extremely aggressive animal at the set. If you can get them there, you're going to catch them. They'll spend the time there if you've got a good bait and lure. Trap spacing doesn't seem to matter a whole lot. Once you get them there, they're going to work that set. They're going to get caught. That's the nice thing about a badger. They're very aggressive at the set, and they don't stand off because of scent or anything. So they're fairly easy to trap. The key thing is getting to the location where they are, where they exist. Out here in the west, I find a lot of badgers in no-till areas. If you can find a spot where you've got a farmer or rancher who's got a no-till operation, those badgers love those no-till fields. And you know, one of the best badger places I have is a no-till field next to a river. And that is a spot where I will routinely pull 7 or 8 badgers out of just one field alone. I mean, that's a big percentage of my catch that comes out of one guy's field. And the rancher loves you for it because they're tearing up that field and they're hitting those holes when they're working those fields. So you can do them a favor when you're doing yourself a favor by
Hey guys, got ourselves a badger here this morning. This was actually put in here as a coat set, and this is an incidental catch here. I would not specifically target a badger like this in the middle of a road. This is kind of a bad deal here. We'll actually have to pull this all back in. This is in the middle of the trail. But it is kind of neat. If you look at this badger, he's obviously been fighting with a porcupine. He's got a head full of quills there. And he's not in very good spirits this morning. But something else I want you to notice is when you look at the back, I'm trying to show you the back here, you can see this really sharp on his back. Badgers are in season right now, but this is not a good badger. His hair is still real grainy down the sides. It's not filled in real good. It's real short. We're actually going to let this guy go. We could harvest him. We actually harvested one here the other day, and they're just not quite ready to harvest, and the value to them is so minimal at this point. You're better off to let that animal go and harvest him again later in the season when you can actually get that value out of him. So we're going to get him out of that trap. He's caught right across the front of his foot. He'll be fine, and then we'll backfill this all back in. All right, we're going to take our catch pole here, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this loop over his head, and then we're going to try to get his front arm that's not in the trap in the loop as well, because the badger does not have a real thick neck, or they got a real thick neck, but not a lot of contour to it to hold. So you want to make sure that you try and get that front foot under there if you can. This would definitely be a lot easier if I had a newer cable on my catch pole here. Okay, we've got him here. We're gonna try and get his foot out of here as quick as we can. Okay, we've got him free. Now we're gonna go ahead and let him go. And now we'll just try to shoo him out of the area here so we can reset this location. He's wanting to go back in his hole here that he's dug out. We just don't want him to come back over here. We want him to take off running, which he's going to do now. That's maybe not the smoothest release we've ever had here, but the animal's free, and he's hiding under that four-wheeler, that old four-wheeler now, but the animal's free. We'll get him out of here. We're going to go ahead and redo this set, and then we'll head down the road. It would have been great if this would have been another 3 or 4 weeks from now and that was a fully primed badger, and we could have kept him. But to keep that badger, there's just not any value to him, guys, when they've got that real short hair like that. And there's not a ton of them around. There's a fair number of them, so go ahead and release that animal if you have the opportunity, and then you've got that chance to catch him again when he's got some real value, because these western badgers that we've got out here do have a real value when you catch them later in the year.
This is one of those great spots on my trap line that I know I'm going to catch badgers in year after year. Actually, this field that we're in here is a no-till field, and for some reason those badgers just love these no-till fields. And also here it's extremely sandy soil, so that's easy digging for the badger as well. We've actually, you can see all these trees behind us, but we've actually got a river right behind us as well, and it's just an awesome spot for badgers. This field alone, I'll normally catch between 10 and 12 badgers out of this field, and it's not, but I bet this field isn't 150 acres. And it's normally a wheat stubble field, or I guess I'm not sure what all they plant in here, but it's normally a stubble field when I get here, which it is again this year. When I'm setting up these fields like this, guys, one of the things you're going to notice here is this is a transition area. This is the edge of the stubble going into the tall grass, going into the trees, and this is a great travel way for these predators. These badgers run this, and you'll catch badgers out in the middle of the field, but I have way more success on these transition lines. I actually, unless there's a feature out in the field that stands out like a sore thumb, I don't set in the middle of the field. I'm setting these transition lines. That's where I spend my time, and I increase my catch that way. And that's why the trap's going here for the badger. And like I said, these are places that I catch badgers year after year. There's constantly digs in here, and you would think that I would put a hurting on them where my catch would go down on them, but in this particular area, it doesn't. So I just keep after them. Like I said, this is a spot I use year after year. It's marked on my GPS, and we actually have an old earth anchor in here, and we're going to go ahead and reuse that earth anchor at this location. So we'll go ahead and take our trap, and we're going to pinch this off. And now we're going to put our dirt hole in here, and you can actually see the backside of this. A coyote has actually been in here digging at this location, and he came in from the back, and that's one thing we're going to address here. We're going to do a relatively deep dirt hole here. We want that badger to spend a little bit of time here, and we are going to put a couple of sticks in as backing here. And this is one of those spots, guys, where not only do we have a great chance to catch a badger, but we have a great chance to catch a coyote as well. Coyotes run this edge line a lot here. So we're going to use a larger trap that accommodates both species here. And the nice thing about a badger, guys, when he comes in and works this set, he's aggressive as all get out. We're going to leave our spacing back here to accommodate for a coyote as well. And a lot of times you'll either catch that badger by a front or hind foot. With the spacing here, I do get a lot of hind foot catches on that badger, which is fine. He's still going to be here when I get him, and quite honestly, it gets him further out digging. He's digging away from this stake, which is a great thing. If you keep him in close, he can dig right on that stake, and a lot of times they can actually dig that stake out of the ground. They have so much power when they're digging. So if we can get him away from the trap, where he's digging outside that, that big catch circle out there, that's just fine for me. So we're going to go ahead and set our trap. We're going to offset this. We're still going to be, that 9 and 3 off, just like we would for a coyote for the badger here. I'm not going to get up super close to it, just because he is going to be so aggressive when he comes in here and works this set. We're going to grab a little bit of duff here to put underneath our pan, just to make sure this nice fine sand doesn't get underneath there. Grab our sifter. And these badgers, guys, they don't mind our scent at all. They're not gonna shy away at all because of our scent. If we do anything here to help narrow it, we might put a couple of just a couple of sticks in there to help narrow down where he comes into the set. And now we've got our dirt hole in, and it's a pretty deep dirt hole. Now we're going to take my all predator bait again. This is a great badger bait, guys. Works great on the badger. And then we're just going to take a stick here, grab a little bit out of there, drop that down our dirt hole. Stick this back over here. And then we're going to use some of my ornery badger lure here on the back side of the dirt hole. Just set a little bit of that on that backing there. And now this set's done, guys. One other thing you can do, but you don't have to do with badgers, is you could grab some of this grass here and you can roll it up in a ball and put that down the dirt hole to make it look like a mouse nest down there, along with that bait we put down there to give it the odor down there. And you'll have really good success on these badgers. And these are the kind of areas you need to look for on your trap line for badgers. And there's just great spots to catch them. So we'll get on down the trail and see what we can find. I got a quick tip for you when it comes to trapping badgers, guys. And you'll probably hear me reference this quite a few times in the video. When you're trapping badgers, I use earth anchors. Primarily I use earth anchors everywhere, but especially on badgers. And the reason for that is I can do a 20-inch earth anchor, and then on my traps I actually have 3 swivels in line there, and when I'm trapping badgers I'll actually run that up to that second swivel. So I basically have about 26 inches in the ground, because once that badger gets caught, he is going to dig one heck of a hole, and you need all the holding power you can get in the ground so that you make sure that you keep that badger there. Don't use a short stake when you're trapping badgers, guys. And if you can lengthen up that cable, you'll get them further away from that stake. So they're swiveling out further, they're digging out further. The circle is bigger, but they're further away from your anchor, because we want them away from the anchor. We don't want them digging that anchor up, because if they dig this anchor up, they're going to be gone. And the idea is to keep them there. Got ourselves a real nice adult badger here. This is one of those spots I set every year for badger because I've caught them here before. This is not an area that I actually ever saw any sign in. I put in a coyote set on this hogback ridge here, and caught a badger here just down the trail a little ways. It's actually washed out right there, so I didn't reset that exact same location again. I do catch several coyotes in here as well, but when you've got an area where you've caught badgers before, you're typically going to catch them again in those locations. And with this location, I think what really draws them to it is, as you can tell, this is really sandy soil. It's easy for them to dig in, and they can do a lot of hunting in here. So when you find a spot like this, set it. When you catch a badger, you got to think, down the road again, remember where you caught those, and reset those locations, because you'll catch badgers at them again and again and again. There's not a lot of them around, but they do typically travel those same areas for a reason. So find those areas and set them. If you catch a badger someplace, set it again. That obviously this year we'll continue to set this location. We'll kick this dirt back in the set, and we'll use this location again. But next year and the year after that, remember those spots, set them again, and you'll continue to catch these badgers. We're almost into January here now. It's just a couple days before Christmas, and this is a good badger to take home and put up. He'll fetch a pretty fair price if the market holds on him. So I've got all my equipment here to redo the set. We'll go ahead and harvest this badger, and we'll go from there. The other thing I want to talk about, wind. We got a lot of wind today. We're going to have 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts they're talking about today. Last night we had rain. I was really contemplating whether or not I was going to be able to get down this hog's back or not, or if I was going to have to drive. Well, it'd equate to basically about 25 miles back around to check the rest of my sets down this ridge, because this is kind of a hairy situation going down here. But we'll go ahead and let this guy out of the trap. But he's a nice adult badger. He's got really nice fur on him. You can see the undercoating there on that fur. That's what you want on these badgers. They're really kind of an underrated animal. I think they've got a beautiful, beautiful hide. I really like to see these nice badgers like this. You can see his hair blowing in the wind here. He's still a little wet, but we're going to go ahead and kick this all back in here. That and this road here is pretty steep, and it's really steep road, and it's washing out just from natural erosion. We don't want to cause any more erosion than we have to. We still want to be able to access this area, so we want to fill this back in and try and prevent a little bit of erosion here anyway. One thing I do want to talk about with these badgers as well, guys, you really need to pay attention when you're setting for badger. If you see badger sign when you're right next to a corner post on a fence line or something, be really careful setting those corner posts, because you can see what kind of damage this badger's done right here. And this is just on the side of a hill. Imagine what a rancher or farmer is going to say if you've got a set right next to a corner post when you're specifically targeting them. Absolutely, you know, for sure, when he digs that corner post out, you're going to be sitting there for a while doing some fence work if that happens. So just be aware when you're setting and you're anticipating a badger catch. Corner post probably not the best location in the world for that set, even though you've got a good chance of catching them there. Hopefully we're able to catch another badger at this location, or a coyote. He's made a heck of a disturbance here, but I think we'll be alright with doing the remake here. So we'll end up backing this trap off here just a little ways from where it originally was. Just cover our earth anchor and chain with some loose sand here. And we're going to put our dirt hole in here, and we'll have a nice natural cubby here, or backing, to keep the next animal working it from the front side where we want him. So I'm going to grab my bag here. Here, especially on a day like today. We had rain last night, and then we've got snow and rain in the forecast again. Just using a sheet of toilet paper here for a pan cover. It's about the perfect size to put over your trap pan, whether it's like an MB 550 or 650 or anything like that. It fits about perfect over your pan. It's a whole lot easier than cutting screens like I used to do. And always got a roll of toilet paper in the truck, so I'm just going to sift this dirt over that wax dirt so it blends in nice. Now we're going to put our dirt hole back here. And guys, with these badgers, a good stinky bait works great. If you're really out targeting them, I really like a stinky bait for them. It really draws them in. They come in, they work the set real aggressive, and I'm using my all predator bait. That's the bait I'm using here, and we're just going to put a glob of that down the dirt hole. And we'll just kick a little sand in over that to cover it up a little bit, and then I'm going to use my all predator, or excuse me, not all predator, but my coyote gland lure here. These badgers will come in and work that gland lure just like a coyote would, so you can kind badger. Definitely a lot better than these early season ones I was catching earlier. This is what you want. This is what you want to take home and skin. Those early ones, you just don't capture any value out of them, so you might as well either let them go or not take them home, because they just don't have value to them. So I prefer to let them go and have the opportunity to capture that revenue down the road sometime. So we're going to get on down the trail to the next set. Alright guys, this is a spot I just want to show you real quick. I'm actually pulling this trap out of here today, but this is a spot where I've caught one badger here, another badger over here, and then there's actually another dig right over here next to it. This is a spot where I catch a lot of badgers, and again, we're trapping an edge line here, right along the river's edge with a stubble field behind us. It's just an awesome place to catch badgers. But one thing I want to show you here is this is a trap that's been fired for a little while. I'm just pulling it out of here today, and the activity here is just crazy. One of the reasons is when you're done, it's so important to get your traps fired, is because this thing is just littered with coyote tracks. There's badger track in here. We actually had a coyote mark this morning. I mean, that's a fresh marking today, and this is an old set here, guys, and so just the power of that bait that I'm using. I mean, here we are, and we're still getting activity. And like I said, this is an old set that's been fired, but I just wanted to demonstrate that even though, I mean, this is a mess. I mean, this is a heck of a badger hole here and over there. You're still going to catch more badgers at these locations. The coyotes, no matter the mess, they still come in and they work. This just something to keep in mind when you're doing this. You're going to catch coyotes at your badger sets. This is a prime example of that. All these coyote tracks in here. I mean, they're curious about the scent that's here, the scent the badger left behind, the scent that the bait and lure left in the dirt hole. So look for these spots. Continue to set them. This is one of those spots, guys. Like if you're a fisherman, you know where to go bass fishing. You know where to go trout fishing. You know where you're going. You know that, hey, this hole is going to produce this type of fish or whatever. It applies to deer hunting. It applies to trapping. When you find those spots on your trap line, don't abandon them. Continue to go back. You know, for me, this is a spot I know I'm going to catch fur at. I'm going to catch badgers here. I'm going to catch coyotes here. And I'm going to continue to set this year after year after year. And I'm going to continue to collect the fur that this area has to offer. They'll always be here. I don't have trapping pressure around me. The animals backfill in and I harvest them again next year. So find those spots and set them year after year. It speeds up your trapping process, and time is valuable to all of us out on the trap line. We only have a minimal amount of time to do this. A lot of people do. I have more time than most to run my trap line, but a lot of guys don't have a ton of time. So find these spots and continue to trap them and collect that fur. Take that easy fur. This is easy fur for me. I know when I come here, I'm going to put my trap in the ground, I'm going to put my bait in the ground, and I'm going to collect fur here throughout the season. And these are the spots I look for on a trap line. This ranch for me is probably, I'm guessing, around 5,500, 6,000 acres, and I can be in and out of this ranch in probably about 3.5 hours, running all of my traps. And that's because I trap it year after year. I go to the same spots, and don't get me wrong, I learn new spots every year on this piece of property. But there's the tried and true spots that I set every year, and I can almost tell you how many animals I'm going to catch at that location before it slows up. So just look at this and use it on your trap line, and it applies to whatever species you're trapping, not just badgers, guys. One thing here, guys, when you're pulling these traps, I do like to hook below the swivel if I can, so I don't bust any J hooks when I'm pulling this out, and then I'll actually crimp that cable off when I get home. But it's that simple to do, guys, and these pullers are great tools for getting these earth anchors out of the ground. We all talk about how to put them in. I don't think a lot of people talk about how to get them out, and these pullers will get them out. One thing I'll caution you is it's easier if you wait till there's not a lot of frost in the ground to pull them out, obviously, because you're not pulling through that frost line. We've got a set here that actually is kind of a dual purpose set here for us today. This is an old building that is obviously collapsed, and this is a great spot to catch skunks. And I also have pretty good luck with badgers at this location. I think they come in and hunt around here for mice and moles that this area holds, and I have real good success here with these badger sets. So we're going to put one in here, and it's kind of nice. We've actually got this old concrete here for backing. So we're just going to do a regular, well, you might not be able to get, there we go. We're going to put our dirt hole in here, and we're going to use this for backing to force that badger to come in and work it the way we want here. And chances are we're probably going to pick up a couple of skunks here at this location as well, which is just fine. It's actually, that's a good deal for me. And we are going to set this up a little bit closer here. Cats will check out these kind of locations a lot as well, and we don't want to catch a bobcat right now. They're not in season, so we're going to set this trap up pretty close to the dirt hole, and we're going to crimp off our earth anchor here. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our driver, and with these badger sets, guys, you're going to hear me say it again and again, you want to make sure that you get that earth anchor bedded real deep in the ground so that they don't dig it out. Last thing you want to do is lose that badger after you catch them, especially these western badgers. We have a real valuable badger here. Okay, we've got that out. Now we're gonna go ahead and bed our trap, and this ground's really hard here, and we don't have enough that we dug out from digging our trap bed. I'm gonna run over here and grab some dirt quick. And a badger, guys, a badger's another one of those animals that you don't have to bed your, or not bed it, but you don't have to cover your trap with a badger. That badger, he's so aggressive when he comes in and he works this set, you can actually leave your trap pan exposed if you'd like. And he doesn't care about scent at all, so we're not worried about scent here. We're going to go ahead and bed this, and we're going to bed it offset a little bit. And you also have to keep in mind that when we're trapping badgers, guys, they do have a little bit shorter leg stroke, obviously, than a coyote. But even with that, they work this set so aggressively that whether you're setting for coyote or you're specifically setting that badger set and you're setting it closer, you're going to get him at both sets, guys. So we're going to bed that nice and firm in the ground, and then we're just going to put a thin coating over there. And like I said, you don't have to cover that pan. We're just going to blend it in a little bit, and we're not going to cover it entirely. Now we're going to take our all predator bait here. We're going to go ahead and put that down the hole. And it doesn't take a lot, guys. They've got a heck of a nose on them. We're going to go ahead and stick that down a dirt hole, and we'll just leave that little stick right down there with it. Now we're going to take our ornery badger lure that we've got here, and we're going to put that on the back side of the dirt hole here, so it blows around real good. And now this set's done, guys. It's that quick and simple. When you're trapping badgers, keep in mind a lot of the places where you catch skunks, you'll catch badgers too. They're both of the same family, and a lot of those areas, they travel. I catch a lot of badgers along the edge of creeks as well. Catch a lot of skunks along the edge of a creek. And when I'm catching the badgers along the edge of a creek, I'm not catching them right on the water. I'm catching them where the bank comes up and flattens out. I'm catching them on that flattened out area. That's where they're traveling. Another thing, in the dead of winter when the ice is froze, everything travels the ice, and that includes badgers. So keep that in mind. You can run some of those bank sets for badgers and catch them off of the ice once the ice, the water freezes. All right, guys, one thing I want you to take into consideration when you're out there setting for badgers is a corner post. Great set for a coyote, terrible set for a badger. And the reason that is, you'll catch that badger here, but once you catch him here, he's going to dig this post out of the ground. And then you've got this entire fence line that you're responsible for fixing. And it's just something you need to keep in mind when you're trapping badgers. Don't specifically set for them where they're going to cause destruction to something that you're going to have to repair, because they are a destructive animal. They will dig, dig, dig. I mean, if you're on the rancher's or farmer's main trail through his place, probably not the best place to put in a badger set, even though you're probably going to catch him there if you've got the right conditions, you know, as far as terrain and sign. But sometimes you do have to think a little bit when you're trapping these guys because of the destruction they do. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're trapping badgers, and you'll keep that landowner happy, and you won't do anything that you have to fix when you're done.
All right, guys, what we've got here is a few days ago when we come through here, we saw a badger had come across this sandy spot right behind me. The tracks had come through, and we put some traps in the ground here to try to capture that animal. And unfortunately, as you can see here, that badger did come back through this area. He worked this set. He actually flipped this trap out of its trap bed when he was digging, and he dug down. This is not something I've done here. He's actually dug this earth anchor down a good, I'm gonna say 6 or 8 inches there, and dug that trap out of the ground. But the benefit is when I put this trap in, I put 2 traps in, and we did that to capture a north or a south wind. So either way, if we had a wind change, like today we've got a south wind, we'd have an opportunity to capture that animal. And if you look off to the west here, about 30 feet away, we have a badger sitting over here. And this is the animal we were after, and we were able to capture him. And as you can tell, he's been here for a day, and he has created a heck of a mess for us to clean up here after we harvest him. But this is the animal we're after. Badgers are pretty sporadic. When you see sign, you need to set that sign. We're not setting a prairie dog town here. If we had a prairie dog town, we'd obviously go into that prairie dog town and we'd put in some badger sets to capture these. Those are hot spots for them. Where we're located here, we don't have any prairie dog towns to work with. So you're really setting that sign. When you see sign, set it, and hopefully you'll get this animal coming back through that same area, checking his territory, and be able to capture him. So we'll go ahead and we're going to harvest this animal, and then we're going to go ahead and do a remake here. We'll probably actually end up pulling this trap out of here and moving it outside of this circle. He's dug such a trench here that even when we fill this back in, the ground's going to be extremely soft here, but as you can see, he's still digging. He's still trying to get away, so we'll go ahead and take care of this animal and go from there. We're gonna just pull this trap off of this wolf fang that we've got in the ground, and then I'll come back with the puller later and get that earth anchor out of there. But we're gonna pop that out, and then we're gonna go ahead and reattach to a new one here, and we'll reset on the outside of this catch circle here. And this catch circle is going to draw a lot of attention from additional predators. Not only the badger, but coyotes and skunks and everything will come check this out. But I am going to push this back in for a couple of reasons. Just we don't want to destroy the landowner's land here. And we'll push this back in to fill it back in. And then I'll reset this trap. I'll probably reset this trap back here where this trail meets this hole again, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and backfill this in real quick, and then we'll put the trap back in the ground. All right, we've got the crevice that badger created refilled here, and I'm actually going to go on the front side of this dirt hole, or not the dirt hole, but this crevice that he put in, so that I'm closer to the trail road coming through here, so we can capture not only the cattle trail but the road if we get this southeast wind here. So we're going to go ahead and dig our trap bed in. We'll grab our driver here for our wolf fang. Go ahead and set that anchor. We're going to set that same trap that we had in here. We don't need to replace that trap to catch an additional badger or coyote or anything here. So I'll make sure that's bedded in there nice and solid. And take a screen for a pan cover. Grab some of this dirt, sift it over our trap. And we're going to use this loose dirt mound behind us here as our backing. We're not going to bring in a bunch of grass or anything. We may use a chunk of cow turd here as our backing. Now we're going to put our dirt hole in. We've got our dirt hole in here. And the bait I'm using to capture these badgers, coyotes, coons, fox, it doesn't matter, guys, is this all predator bait. I've been using this for a long time. It's just something that have recently come out with on the market on a mass scale. And this will catch everything you're after, guys. It's a great, strong odored bait, and it'll capture all these animals you're after. It doesn't matter which predator you're after, it targets them all, which is great. I like to have the ability to capture anything that comes by here, because at the end of the day, that's money in the bank, whether it's a skunk, a coyote, a badger, it's all money in the bank at the end of the season, guys. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're using baits, that you want something that gives you the widest variety of the animals that you have out there, because they're all money in the bank. And that's what we're trying to do, guys, here, is put fur in the shed. And at the end of the year, those numbers, your incidental catches, if you have incidental catches of say a skunk or a coon, that adds up to a number at the end of the year that's probably worth counting. So nice strong bait, I recommend it. Gonna put a grass ball in here to cover that bait, so they got to work a little bit. That grass ball kind of represents a mouse nest. And then we're gonna go ahead and put some lure on the back side of here as well. And now this set's done, and hopefully we'll be able to either capture another badger or a coyote or something here.
One more thought for you guys. When you're out doing your pre-season scouting and you're driving down the road, if you're driving section lines or you're just out driving in the country and you notice a bunch of badger digs, a lot of these farmers and ranchers really dislike the badger because they're digging holes out in their field, they hit them with their tractor, and it's a great avenue to get into a place to actually gain permission on ground, is to actually go target badgers. So when you go knock on the door, just let them know that, hey, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to target coyotes, but I'm also going to try to get those badgers out of here. And let them know that that's what you're after, and you'll increase your odds of getting permission on the trap line.
All right, guys, we've got ourselves a nice badger here. The reason we caught this badger here, these badgers, they spend a lot of time out on these cornfields. There's a lot of mice and prey for them to hunt out there. And also we've got an abandoned farmyard here too, and they do actually spend some time in these areas as well. They travel these travelways, and basically we're set right off the road here. And then we're also set along the edge of the cornfield. It's a real easy travel way for these badgers. And as you can see, we've got a good one here. He would definitely be a little bit better later in the year, but we will harvest this animal today. It's a fairly decent badger, definitely an adult-sized badger. This is a one-day check here, and as you can see, they can do a tremendous amount of damage in a very short period of time. So we're going to go ahead and harvest this guy. and then we'll get on to another location here. One thing with these badgers though, I do not shoot them in the head when I harvest them. I actually shoot them through the chest because I have a market for these skulls, so I can actually, you know, once he's skinned, I can take that skull, and I've got a guy that buys all of those from me. So it's just one more way to make a little more revenue on this animal. All right guys, now that we've dispatched the badger, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and backfill this location here where he's got this all dug out. So we'll just take our sifter here, grab all this dirt and fill back in the hole he dug. Smooth this all out. We're doing this for two reasons. One, the rancher here probably wouldn't appreciate a great big hole right next to his road, so we want to fill it back in for that reason. Secondly, we're going to reset this location. We got a chance to catch another badger here again, and the hole isn't going to bother that badger, this big mess. That badger, he'll come right in, he'll work this set again. We have an opportunity to catch another one at this location. And along with that, there's a probability of catching a coyote as well. One thing to keep in mind, these badgers, they don't care about scent, guys, at all. They come in and they aggressively work your sets. So we're not worried about scent at these locations. It's not going to bother them, it's not going to slow them down. They're just going to come in, they're going to work the set, and you're going to catch them. Generally, when that badger comes in and works the set, you do get them because they are so aggressive. We've got our old trap bed here. We're just going to use that again. There's no sense in digging a new one here. Going to bed our trap. Got to make sure, especially with badgers, guys, these guys are diggers, and they come in and they start digging your set, so make sure your trap is bedded securely in the ground. Got our screen. Now we're going to sift that over. With a badger, you could probably leave your trap exposed and not have any issues with picking up a badger. But we still have the opportunity here at this set to pick up a coyote or a fox or something like that. And if we left our trap exposed, we'd miss that opportunity to pick up that coyote or fox. So we are going to cover our trap, but you would not have to cover your trap for a badger. He'd still come in and he'd work that set, and you'd have a catch there. I'm going to stick some bait down in that dirt hole. Like a nice loud bait. When it comes to badgers, they seem to respond really well to it. So we're going to use my all predator bait here, guys. It works on all these predators, works really well on these badgers as well. We've got a grass ball on top that kind of represents a mouse nest, and then we're going to use some lure on the back side here of the dirt hole, and then it's a little bit more than I would have liked to put there, but that'll work. We are going to take some of this grass and mount it up or not grass, but dirt, mount it up just a little bit to try to maybe help persuade him to come in from the front here. Not a huge backing, but a little bit of a backing there. Oops, fired my trap. We'll go ahead and reset that again. Got that trap rebedded. We're going to re-sift some dirt over the top of it. These badgers really are a beautiful animal. I think they're a pretty a hide that's not as well received as it maybe should be, because it is a beautiful hide, especially when they get a little bit later in the year and they get the 3-4 inch hair on there. They're really a pretty animal. But This is a badger set, guys. It's a set that'll catch multiple predators, and we got the targeted animal we were after today, and we'll go check some more sets. What we're going to do is we're going to get on the edge of this stack yard here, or on the edge of the stack, and they'll hunt this edge. So they'll come down and they'll hunt this edge, and then plus we're going to use the northwest wind to help capture if he's hunting some of these other stacks here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and dig our dirt hole. So now we've got our dirt hole in the ground here, and then we're going to go ahead and dig our trap bed out. With badgers, guys, you really don't have to worry about scent of any kind with the badger. That animal, they just don't, doesn't really bother them when they come in and work your set. A badger will come in and aggressively work your set. So you'll have him here. If you can get him to come over here and work this dirt hole, you're going to have some success with catching him. One thing you want to make sure with badgers, guys, staking system is very important with a badger. This animal, once he's caught, he's going to dig, and he's going to dig a pretty good sized crater, and you need a long, like an earth anchor. I'm not a fan of stakes with a badger set. I do like to use the earth anchors. You can drive these in, and when we drive this earth anchor in, I'm actually going to drive that past the first swivel a ways, because I want as much of that earth anchor in the ground as I can, because they can dig an awful big hole, and the last thing you want is them digging your stake out of the ground. As you can see, I'm using the wolf fang earth anchor. This is the driver that I'm using along with that. The driver slides just directly into the earth anchor, real quick and easy. They're super easy to use, and they have tremendous holding power once they're in the ground. And so we'll drive that down to the edge of the ground. Now we're going to set that earth anchor in there, and as you can see, I've got a swivel exposed here, so we're still going to have a good swivel working on the trap here. You have to take into consideration that he's going to dig that hole. If you're using an 18 or a 20-inch stake, you're strongly increasing your probability of losing that catch. Going to bed that in there real solid. And you notice on these badger sets, I'm quite a little closer to the dirt hole. We're not back quite as far as we would be on like a coyote set. So keep in mind that you're, I don't know what that is, 6-7 inches away from the dirt hole there or so. And you got to be a little bit closer. They got shorter legs, guys. So now we're going to put our pan cover on there. And now we're going to re-sift the dirt over the top. Which in all honesty, I really don't think with a badger you would probably even have to cover the trap. They're still going to come in and work this set. So, but we'll cover the trap here. Now our set's done. When it comes to badgers, I do like to use an extremely, fairly strong odored bait. They really work that strong odored bait really strong, or really well. So we're going to go ahead and take this all predator bait. I'm going to put that down the dirt hole here, and we're going to leave that exposed in there. I'm not going to put a grass ball over that at all, and we're just going to leave this set just like this, other than the fact that I will put a little bit of just coyote gland lure on the back. It's one more attractant. The badger will not shy away from like a coyote or a fox gland lure, so you can definitely use that lure on the back side of your dirt hole here, and it's just one more attractant to that. And I'm using my winter gland lure. It's got a little bit stronger skunk smell to it, and with that, a lot of times you'll notice a badger smells like skunk. A badger will eat a skunk, so keep that in mind. They are attracted to that skunky smell as well. But this set's done, guys, and we'll go on down the road. All right, guys, we've got ourselves a badger here. This is actually a pretty nice badger for the time of year we're in right now. It would be nice if it was a little bit longer hair, but we will harvest this badger today. This is actually an area that I caught a couple of badgers in last year. When I put the set in here, I did not see any badger sign here, but from previous history of catching badgers in this area, I think I caught 2 here last year. I put this set in, and I've actually got another set in at another location in the same area here in the hopes of capturing these badgers. And it panned out. This set was actually only in the ground a day, so I'm hoping that I actually have a density of badgers to deal with here. This set, I've got my puller here. I'm actually going to pull this trap and just move it out in front of this dirt mound. I'm not going to reset this trap in this exact same location here, being he's got the ground tore up so bad. This is actually a pretty big bonus today. Last night we got down to -6, and the badgers don't typically move when it gets real cold like that. I was rather surprised to see them sitting here. They're kind of like a coon in regards to their travel when it gets super cold. When it gets real cold, they den up and don't tend to move a lot, but obviously he moved. He found the set, he worked it, and we've got him here, and we've got him by a front foot. It's actually right across the pad like it should be. So we're going to go ahead and harvest them, and in case you haven't heard it before, I don't shoot these badgers in the head because I have a market for the skulls. So that's something that when you're trapping these badgers, it's one more avenue to make a little bit of extra money. And then I also started using a pellet gun to harvest these animals, and actually all the animals on the trap line. It's quite a little cheaper than a 22, and you can get your hands on pellets consistently. So it's the way we're going to go ahead and put this animal down. But we'll get him taken care of real quick, and then we're going to pull this trap and put a new set in right on location here. All right, guys, we've got the badger out of the trap now. This is actually a decent sized badger, but they do get quite a little bit bigger than this. And when you're looking at a badger, we'll get a close up here of this. You actually want the hair to be long all the way across the back. He's still a little short in the back. They prime up real late in the season. They're like a beaver. February, March makes a great badger, and this guy's not quite where he needs to be, but the ranchers, they do like to get rid of these guys, and he's in season. It's a moderate badger, so we harvested this animal today. We will get some value out of him, and like I said, we're going to move this trap. I'm actually going to stick it up here, so we'll go ahead and use this puller here, and we're going to hook onto our trap. We've got an earth anchor in here to hold this badger in the ground. All right, obviously I've got to put another J-hook in here to reuse this trap, and I do carry those in my bag. So we'll go ahead and fix this swivel here, reattach it to the trap. And then something else, guys, if you got to pull a trap and move it, make sure that after you pull it, you check the rest of the J-hooks in your swivels to make sure that they're not popped. This one's actually popped a little bit, so we'll tighten that one along with putting this other J-hook in here. And when we're trapping badgers here, guys, you do not need to worry about scent. They are not bothered at all by the scent that we leave behind. They'll still come in here and aggressively work this set. So and we'll go ahead and drive this wolf fang back down into the ground. And another reason this trap's here, not only past history of catching badgers here, but it's a main travel corridor. We've got this road here, and then we've also got a trail headed up into the hills here. And it's just a key travel way, and it all intersects right here, so you can capture not only the badger, but you can capture coons, coyotes, any other type of predator that's traveling here. So your earth anchor out of the ground. And I don't use a rebar stake when I'm trapping badgers. I always use a earth anchor of some type to make sure that I keep that animal
All right, now we've got our trap bedded firmly in the ground. We're going to push some of this back a little bit here because I want to get into hard ground when I'm putting my dirt hole in the ground here. Because if I was to put a dirt hole in this loose ground, it would just backfill in, and then our dirt hole would be covered with an excessive amount of dirt. All right, we've got our dirt hole dug. We're going to go ahead and take my all predator bait that I make here. That's what this badger was caught on at this set. And we're going to put some of that down the dirt hole. And then we're going to grab a little ball of grass here. And we're going to put that over the bait in the dirt hole. Got that down in there. Now we're going to take some lure here, some gland lure, and we're going to take and put that on the back side of the dirt hole. And now all that's left is we need to grab a screen. I've actually got a contaminated screen here that we're going to use at this location because when we're after these badgers, they don't care about scent, so that's not an issue here. Grab some of our dry dirt from the catch circle, and we're going to go ahead and cover our trap. All right, guys, now this set's done, and we're going to head on down the trail and see if we can find any more animals here. This is a set opportunity I want to talk about here too. We've got this creek bottom behind. We all know that ice is a travel way for coyotes and cats and those types of animals. Don't discard this type of a situation for a badger set as well. Badgers spend a lot of time in creeks. They spend a lot of time running the ice just like the rest of the animals. So don't discard a spot like this and think, I can't catch a badger there. You can and you will. You'll catch badgers in places like this. And one thing to keep in mind with badgers is they actually cover a fair amount of ground. So just because you see a badger here today doesn't mean he's going to be here tomorrow. Keep in mind that they cover a lot of ground. I'm not sure where the prairie dog town's at right here. I don't have permission to cross the fence over here, but I can hear prairie dogs barking in the background right now. And this is a travel corridor heading to that prairie dog town. So this is going to be a great location to put in a trap for a badger. We got a couple things going for us. Like I said, we got the prairie dog town behind us. That's food source. We've got the ice, which is an easy travel way for them. So if you look at that, you can go, wow, I got a couple things going for me where I can take advantage of that and increase my odds of catching that badger, because the badgers are not an extremely abundant animal, but you need to take advantage of opportunities like this to catch a badger. All right, guys, I know it's a little hard to see, but we've actually got a badger right here, and this is an animal that I really did not expect to see here today. We've had 3 days of rather cold temperatures since I last checked these traps, and then the day after I came here, the snow came in, and it was really windy and really quite cold, but we've got ourselves a pretty good badger from what I can tell in there. This was actually placed in here as a coyote set. We do have a prairie dog town off to the south, which is an area they definitely hunt, and they do travel these drainages quite a little as well. But this was not an initial set that I did put in here for a badger, but we'll definitely take him. As you can see, he's dug up a heck of a mess here. If I can get this trap out of here and get that bedded over here, we'll actually reset this in the same location in the hopes of catching another coyote here, or possibly another badger as well. But we're going to go ahead and pull him out of there a little bit, if we can get a hold of that trap with our trowel. And as you can hear, he's got a pretty bad temper. badgers. They're one that I don't like to shoot in the head because I can use the skull. I've got a market for those. They've dug such a hole here. I've got a disposable earth anchor that's set in the ground back over here. You want to make sure and give this trap a tug after you get the badger out, and make sure that they haven't dug the underside of that earth anchor out. The last thing we want is to be able to, to catch a coyote at this spot, or maybe another badger, and have them pull that earth anchor out because there's nothing holding it underneath. Because you'll find sometimes where they dig underneath and you can actually see that cable sitting there free in the hole, and if they were to actually come out and work out, they could get out of there. So we'll go ahead and get our trowel out of here. Sometimes you got to use that to pull the trap out of the hole to be able to get them in a position to harvest them. That's actually a pretty good sized badger there, guys. Good looking animal. They've definitely starting to get their winter fur. We're into mid-January, or not mid-January, but mid-December now, and those are the badgers you want to harvest. And as you can see right there, we just pulled our earth anchor out of the ground a good 8-10 inches there, and my guess is, I don't feel it on the underside, but we're actually going to dig this out of here the rest of the way, and we'll reset this over here because we should catch another animal at this location. See, guys, and that's why you got to check your anchoring system after you catch your badger, because he had that completely dug out, with the exception about that much frosty ground, and that's not enough cable or stake to hold another animal at this catch. So with that, he's actually got the hole dug way back under here, so we're going to go out on the edge of this when we put this back in. We're going to kick out a little spot here and get down to some hard ground again, which we're at now. And then we're just going to use this little incline over here as our backing. Alright guys, first thing we're going to do now that we've got this relocated is we're going to put our dirt hole in the ground here with our drill and auger. Now we're going to dig our trap bed again, and we're going to actually put this in here at the spacing we're going to use for a coyote, which is back 9 and off 3. When these badgers come in and work these sets, they work them real aggressive, and you'll still catch that badger even though he's got them short little legs. You'll catch him by that front paw like we did here just a minute ago. And then this is a situation, you know, these badgers, they dig and dig and dig. When you catch them, you're going to have to clean some dirt out of your trap to make sure that it works again. Which we actually wasn't super muddy when we caught him, so a lot of times if this trap is completely packed with mud, I'll just grab a new one and put it in and clean it up at a later time. But we're good now. Now we're going to take this wolf fang earth anchor. I'm going to set that in the driver. Now we're going to drive that down in the ground up to the first swivel here. Alright, we've got our earth anchor set. We're just going to set that in the ground, give it a quick jerk. And now I've got my wax dirt here, guys. We're going to do a thin layer of that wax dirt on the bottom of the trap bed, just to make sure that the trap doesn't frost down from the bottom up. You know, not only freezing down from the top down is an issue, but you can freeze down from the bottom as well, even without moisture on the top. So make sure you put a thin layer of that wax dirt on the bottom. Now we're going to bed our trap in here. And again, I know you've heard it a bunch from me. Make sure that that trap is bedded in the ground real solid so that when that animal comes in and works this set, he doesn't step on a jaw and flip that trap up. If that trap moves under his feet, he's going to dig and figure out what's under his feet. So make sure you're bedded firm in the ground, which we are now. Got a piece of tissue paper here, just a square toilet paper, guys. I'm going to use that for a pan cover here. Stick that over our pan. We're going to put our wax dirt on top to keep the moisture from getting down to the trap. And now we're going to grab some of this dirt the badger dug up for us. And we're just going to sift a little bit of that over the top of our trap to blend it in. Now that's done. Then we're going to grab some of my all predator bait here. And we're going to take just a little bit, guys. That's what it takes. We're going to put that down our dirt hole. We're going to grab some coyote lure. Stick that on the back side of the dirt hole here. And now we're good to go here, guys. We'll be able to catch another coyote or badger at this location, and we'll go from there. We'll go on down the road and check the next sets. Alright guys, we've got ourselves a nice badger here, as you can see. This is really kind of a surprise for me here today. This morning we were about 12 below, and today it's only about 10 degrees now. And these badgers don't typically move a lot when it gets real cold like that. So I really didn't expect to see a badger today. We'll definitely take him. This is a nice middle of January badger. He's got the real nice long hair on his sides. You can see that in the film here. And that's what we're looking for. It's a nice adult badger. He's not a small one by any stretch. And he's what we're looking for on the trap line. Another thing here is look at the ground. We really haven't had this guy here very long. He hasn't dug it up much at all. I'm betting that this badger got caught here today. He hasn't been here a couple of days, or he'd have had this tree dug out of the ground by now. As you can see, when I'm sitting here talking, they are extremely aggressive. If you got inside this catch circle and weren't paying attention, he would get a hold of you and you'd know it. So you got to be very cautious of them. And just a beautiful animal if you really look at him. I want to talk about the location here. We've got a spring-fed draw here. There's quite a few of those in this area. And not only do the badgers travel these, but the coyotes and the cats travel these draws as well. A lot of times when you're looking at travel ways, guys, that a coyote uses, if you're a coyote trapper or a cat trapper for that matter, these badgers are traveling those same trails to some degree. And you can catch these badgers in those trails. This, when we put it back up, we're actually going to put this in here as a cat set because it is cat season here. And that'll act as a dual purpose set for me. You can obviously capture this badger in a cat set, and we can capture the cat. The badger doesn't care if we run a flag up here, if we handle the trap. It doesn't bother him at all. He'll come into a cubby set and he'll work a cubby set. So you might as well set for the cat and have the opportunity to catch this badger as well. And that's what we're going to do when we redo this. We're going to flag this set, and we'll put a couple branches in there to narrow it down if I can find a couple here. I'm not really that worried about it if we got a flag in here for the cat. That'll catch them as well. But just a beautiful animal, and look for these spots on your trap line. Water is always good. Nice tight draws are good. We actually have a prairie dog town off here about a half a mile And prairie dog towns are awesome locations to catch badgers, and or the terrain around the prairie dog town, because they're going to that prairie dog town to hunt, and then you'll catch them going to and from out of these draws. So if you look for these spots, set them. I actually have 3 traps here because this is a Y. There's a Y down here on this trail, and there's one at the Y, and then there's one in each draw going out. So we've got it covered. If there's another badger, we've got a good chance of catching it with the amount of scent that he's left behind. The badger is going to come and check this. As you can tell, they're extremely aggressive. So they're aggressive, they're territorial, and we're going to go ahead and harvest this badger and put him up in the first shed, and then we'll go see if we got any more and go from there, guys. It's going to be a dual purpose set to catch a cat or catch a badger. So we're not worried about scent, because neither one of those animals are worried about our scent either. So we can kneel on the ground without my knee pad, and we can handle the trap. We can do whatever we need to do here, and we're not going to offend the animal that comes in to work this set. So we'll go ahead and redo this here. Alright guys, we've got a bunch of nice loose dirt here, and we're just going to use this loose dirt to bed our trap in. It's nice dry dirt, and we're protected by the cedar tree here. The cedar trees are really good for not allowing a lot of moisture down to the ground because they're so thick. So you can get away with not having to use as much wax dirt. Still got issues, you know, with frost and everything, but we're actually going to put a little bit of wax dirt down on the bottom here to protect from that frost. But the nice dug up dirt that he gave us is real easy to work with as far as bedding this trap and making sure it's nice and solid. With other cats and badgers, we want to make sure their trap's still bedded solid, like you would for a coyote. You don't want any movement. You don't want that trap flipping up. We're going to take our pan cover, which is just a piece of toilet paper here. Pretty simple, cheap, and very effective. I'm going to go ahead and cover that trap. For both badgers and cats, guys, you don't have to cover your trap if you don't want to. I trap a lot of coyotes. It's hard to get into the mindset of not covering your trap. So I still do, but you really don't have to if you don't want to, if you're worried about freeze up. You've got the resemblance of an old dirt hole here. There really isn't much left of it. The ground's extremely frozen. We're using my Extreme Performance All Predator bait here, and that will work for both the badger and the cat, guys. So we're going to take a tablespoon of that and drop that down our dirt hole, wipe our spoon off. Normally I'd use my trowel here to get my bait out, but I can't fit my trowel in this 8-ounce bottle. So we're going to go ahead and close that up. And then we've got my Extreme Performance Deep Creek Winter cat lure here, and we're going to go ahead and stick a glob of that on the back here. It's a little cold. So we got that, and now guys, we've got our flag that we're going to put up. And this won't really do anything as far as attracting another badger at this set, but like I said, this is going to be a dual purpose set. We're going to have the opportunity to catch a couple of different animals here. We're just going to tie this off to this broken branch up here. Okay, and we're going to bend this to where we want it. And what we're going to do with this flag is we want to put that where it doesn't hit the tree, because if it hits the tree, it's going to quit blowing in the wind. We want that visual attractor there.
which we've got a real nice visual there. Okay, we've got our branch here. I'm gonna go ahead and put that over here. And guys, when you're using branches for these sets, try and use something that the wind isn't gonna grab and blow over your trap. If the wind blows this branch out of here and puts it over your trap, you're gonna miss that cat, because he's gonna come, you know, if this is over here, he's gonna come check this flag out in this dirt hole from over there. So either use a heavier branch or try and wedge that branch in the tree so it can't blow over your trap. Last thing you want to do is miss an animal because the branch is over your trap. That's pretty discouraging. Now we're gonna take, prefer to use smaller sticks here. Just go ahead and stick those right in front of your trap pan, straight up in the air. Okay, he's not gonna want to step on those, whether it's a badger or a cat. He's not gonna want to step on something that's pointing up. That will hurt his foot. So we got those put in there just like that, guys. Now this set's done. We're gonna catch a badger, we're gonna catch a cat. You could catch a coon here, but we're really hoping for that badger or that bobcat here. And this set's done, guys. We got a really nice badger here, and we'll see if we can grab any more today. Like I said, I don't anticipate a bunch of badgers today just because of the cold weather we've got. It's a pretty chilly day, but we're good to go here.
First off, I want to thank you for purchasing this video and taking the time to watch it. My goal here is really for you to pick up some tips and techniques to go out on your line and hopefully be able to capture some badgers. I actually trap in environments where we typically have a fair number of badgers, so they're fairly easy for me to target. And a lot of times, you know, you catch badgers and they're an incidental catch, but if you go out and you actually look at your terrain and read the sign, look for the holes and the digs and the environments that hold those badgers, and you can actually go out and be successful targeting just badgers as a species. And you know, along with those badgers, you're going to pick up the coyotes and the coons and the bobcat and these other animals as well. It's a great resource to add extra revenue to your trap line at the end of the year. That and badgers are just, they're a super cool animal to deal with. They've got an attitude like no other animal that I target on my trap line, and they're all different. You know, like a coyote's typically a coyote, but the badgers all act a little bit differently, in my opinion. And things to remember when you're trapping badgers. You want a nice loud bait when you're trapping those badgers. They'll work that loud bait really hard at a dirt hole set. You can catch them in flat sets as well. Remember, you know, along waterways like this, you know, you look at a spot like this and you think, wow, that's a great cat spot. But really, those badgers, they travel these same areas. Badgers travel trails just like the coyotes and the fox and the bobcats do. So look for those same types of areas. The badgers are going to be in those areas as well, along with the wide open prairie. They do spend a lot of time out in the wide open prairie, and you need to look for those spots and really focus on those edge lines when you're out in the wide open. You're going to catch them on those edge lines. They're going to run those edge lines. It's cover for them as well. Another thing you want to take into consideration on the badger line is, especially when you're going into a new piece of property, a lot of the properties I'm trapping, I already know where I'm going to go set my badger sets because I've caught them there before and I catch them year after year. When you're going into a new piece of property and you're targeting badgers, set heavy for them the first year you're in there till you figure out exactly where they're at, and then you can reduce the amount of traps that you're running in that location and still catch the same number of animals. But to increase your catch opportunity when you're learning that piece of property and you're just getting started on badgers, set a little bit heavier so you can get that catch ratio up till you learn the property. And once you learn the property, you can reduce your traps that you're running and still have that same catch ratio. You know, that still have that plane out where you're catching the number of animals that you think you should off the place, and you'll be a successful badger trapper.